Trades. If you have not, like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I have a lot of content around stocks, options, fundamental analysis, what to look, what not to look, and also I give my lot of how to do tips and tricks. So in this video today, we're gonna talk about SPAC. So what is SPAC? Why you should invest in a SPAC, and what do you look for in a SPAC? And also I'm gonna kind of cover warrant. What is warrant, and where do you look, what's the strike price of warrant, and things like that, right? So we're gonna deep dive into all those things. So look back, and also if you guys are new, have not subscribed, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click that bell button so that you get updated about all my latest video. So let's get started with today's topic. So what is SPAC, right? So SPAC are called special purpose acquisition company, right? SPAC, special purpose acquisition company. So what they are and how they do is basically, think about it, right? Let's say there's a lot of usually, so when company company goes IPO to raise capital to expand their expand their business, and as well as like kind of raise money if they are growing, like they have a lot of expenses, so they may not be profitable, so they need money, right? So one way is basically they will do a lot of funding from private funding before, but they, if they want to raise a huge amount, they usually go public, right? So that's what they do the IPO, IPO for the lot of, so like Apple's, Microsoft, all these company went in the IPO. So now I think like later on, I think SPAC has been around for a few 10 20 years. I'm not sure about the history exactly, but what it is basically, instead of doing that, when you do go to that route, it appears there's a lot of expensive, right? They have a lot of banks usually, like the underwriter involved, right? The JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, all those banks, and it gets expensive. So another is basically this SPAC or blank check company, they call it. So what they do is they basically, oh, so basically you, I mean, I guess there's a lot of legality around how, who can create it, but someone can create, right? Someone want create a blank check company, maybe sell the, how many shares they deemed, and maybe raise $1 billion or 600 700 million, whatever that amount is, right? So those are the blank check company, and usually, yeah, usually the price can be anything, but usually what they do is they will offer the stock, one SPAC stock at $10. That's a usual, but it doesn't have to be 10, it can be 20. I've seen some 20, but usually it's gonna be $10, right? So they will issue a share, but at that time you just invest in company, right? If you look at example is TSCB, this is called Tuscan Holding, which is at 11.28. They started at 10. If you look at 1 year, I guess somewhere around 9, they even dipped up to 950, I guess. They started at 10, so you can see the price, but around 10, right? And they literally boomed in last 2 days, and I'm gonna cover like why they boomed, what's going on, but you get the idea. They usually go around $10. At that time, they have no idea which company they're gonna merge it. So now what they're looking for a lot of private company. These private small company which are looking to raise money, they can go public by combining, having a merger with this SPAC, right? So when they do that, you will the ticker THCB will change into whatever. For example, I think SPAC SPAC was whatever SPAC changes to Fisker FSK, and a lot of companies actually went that way, right? So basically that's what happens when that happens. Basically your shares, usually it's 1 to 1, so your one TSCB will, let's say if it was going to be Tesla, it's going to be Tesla again. Tesla is already public, that's not going to happen, but you get the idea, right? So that's what. And the good thing is, for example, so they have usually time around like 2 years or something. So if they let's say this company could not find a good partner to merge with, then what happens is they will give back $10 to shareholders, so you can redeem, right? If it doesn't merge within that certain time, you will get back that $10. You're not gonna get $12 because it's 11.28, just because of speculations, but you can redeem that for $10 cash. So basically, if this does not go to merge, you are risking only $1.28, right? That's all you are risking. But one thing can happen, again, nothing is like as good, or nothing is 100% safe. The risk one have is, let's say they have a merger, right? They announced their merger with some crappy company, right, which is not doing really bad. Nobody likes company, right? If that happens, the stock price can go down, right? Then you cannot redeem it, right? It's merged, so it's gonna merge, so you cannot. But if the merger doesn't happen, you have that risk. But yeah, if they find a really crappy company, it can actually go down. That's there. So now let's look at some of this SPAC, right? A lot of companies, for example, Pershing Square, that PSTHU, that's a SPAC. Virgin Galactic was a SPAC, which is space. Whole Earth Brand, which is free. Repay Holdings are pay. DraftKings was a SPAC, DKNG. Flying Eagle FESC, CPAA, IPOC. Nikola was a pretty big SPAC. So think about it. If you got into Nikola SPAC, you got in at like $10, and if you remember, still Nikola is 30, 40. That's a 300%. And if you remember, at one point it was at 80, 90. So you could get lucky, and you can make a lot of money. That's 900%, right? So it just, you need to find a good company. That's all. But you may have some. Okay, so Pershing Square actually did 28, right? Raising 4 billion. Yep. So yeah, you can see that not all are $10. And if you look at Virgin Galactic, they, I guess, okay, okay, this is social. Okay, this was one of the other popular one. Not sure what was the. Okay, well, but you get the idea. I was just kind of looking. Don't want to dive into it, but these were some popular SPAC. So SPAC, pretty much I covered. So now I guess I'm gonna kind of do warrant. What is warrant, and how do you do that? So basically, so why this? This is another SPAC. I'm kind of looking at IPOB, which gonna be open door. I think open door has a lot of rooms. I actually grabbed some of these shares of this SPAC, and I also got a few warrants. So I'm gonna kind of go why warrant is a good, or what are these risks. But a SPAC, if you got the SPAC stock, it's just a stock. It will change into the whatever the ticker. If you get warrant, it's like an option. But I'm gonna. So other is TSCB. So TSCB, as we talked, it was a 990, and just jumped up almost 5% today and yesterday as well. So it was like 1050 day before yesterday. So there was a rumor, and the rumor has it is this Microvast SPAC merger. So electric vehicle. So Microvast is an so electric battery company. So they make electric battery. So you, as you know, EV is really on the momentum right now. So that's why it's kind of, this ticker is getting momentum. So this can actually get good a bit. So check it out, this TSCB. And if you see, there was some rumor I heard right here around 1350. I saw some post in Reddit, and I got into it actually that day, and I added some yesterday, and looks like this is doing pretty well, already up 10-15%. And I may actually add more. I hope it dips, but this thing doesn't dip. But so that's all. So SPAC, if you got the SPAC share, the shares will change to that. And other thing is, like, you can sell this share just as a stocks anytime, as long as there are buyers. That's it, pretty much. So that is SPAC. So what is warrant, and why you should do that? So warrant is basically like an option, but it's not like 100 shares. Warrant is 1 to 1. So warrant price is a lot cheaper. For example, why you should, so this is THCB. It cost 1100. So if you want to buy 100 shares, it will be just 1128 at right now. It's 1124 after hours, but you get the idea, right? But I think TSCB. I think I have to look into somewhere, Market Watch, because this does not gives me. This does not gives me. So TSCW, right? What was that? TSCB. Yeah, TSCB, TSCB, TSCBW. This is warrant, right? So if you look at that, Tuscan holding is 1120 and Tiscan holding warrant are 170, right? They are already up today as well. So this is after hour, there's 9,000 volume. And if you look at that, this warrant are 170. So why you should buy one? This looks like an option. So this is a lot cheaper, but what does it tells is you can exchange this warrant for one stock, but you do have to pay 11 and $50, right? 11 and $50. So if you think about it, like if you right now if you buy the stock TSCB, it's at 11.25, let's say 11.25. So if you get warrant like 170, then 11 you have to still pay 11.50. So why would you buy, right? Your cost, if you look at the calculator, so your cost is basically 11.50 plus 170, that's 13.2. You are paying more, right? So why would you pay more? You would think that, but the thing is like with $1,000 you can just buy 100 shares if you want to buy, right? But if you have $1,000, what you can do is you can do so I still gonna do calculator. So if you have $1,000 and you can buy at 170, 1.7, you can buy almost 600 of those, like 588, right? So you get a lot of buying power, right? But one thing to remember, this does have expiration, usually expiration with 4 to 5 years, but you have a lot of time, right? So this gives you a power to hold 588 shares, which gonna expire in 5 years. So that is pretty good deal. One thing is, if the merger never happens, right? If that IPOB or whatever it is, if merger never happens, you just basically lose this. So if merger doesn't happen, you lose. You lost your $1,000. But if merger happens, then you have right to buy that. So if the stock is below, so if stock is basically uh, below what we call if a stock is below that price like 1150, doesn't make sense to exercise it, right? As long as the stock is above 1150, then you can exercise this and change it. And usually think about it like, so if the stock goes if you got 1000 stock, if a stock goes $10, you made 1000. Here you have 588, right? So which you can convert to the stock. So if it goes, you have this one, if it goes $10, you just made like what, almost 5000, right? So basically 1000 to 5000. So buying this warrant, again, it has to work on your side. Okay, there could be a chance where the SPAC can never go public, then you basically lose money, right? So that could happen. But um, if that does not happen, I think this is pretty good strategy to play. So yeah, and other things is like, where do you get all those information? Like so we can actually look live right now, TSCB. So if you look at TSCB sec filing, if you go to sec filing, you can actually look at their S1 and see what's their filing says, right? So we're gonna go here, look into the S1, and if you look at here, you can see everything about it, right? Oh, I think I did to scan holdings. Okay, okay. So if we go to S1 and IPO investment prospect, you can actually see everything, right? So how many they are going with the 23 million warrants, 23 million part of the units. So that's they are going live with 23 million units, and you can look at the pretty much everything you need to know about. And for warrant, you can see what's their price and whatnot. So if you look at the warrants, commercial stocks, and 3 million traded warrants unless such units, maybe you should on exercise a 45-day option granted, right? So you can see when you can. Uh, so this is with no public information, so you can get potential warrants linked to the common stocks. Warrant. Yeah, the you need to trade the promptly after the date of the common stocks work upside. We need to begin trading separate trading on 90th different date of prospects until early very capitals. And if you look down, yeah, so warrants, right? Number of outstanding before this offering 0, number of sold in private placement, there's gonna be 535,000 on private placement. Number of associates of the private placement is 20 million. That's number of warrant gonna be sold. And except each warrant is except one share of stock, right? One warrant you can change this for one stock at the price of 11.50. So you do have to pay 11.50, right? So that's your price. So yeah, so that's the price of the warrant, and the warrant will become excited on the later of 30 days after. And warrant you cannot exercise right away. You do have to wait for 30 days period. I guess that's called lockup period. And warrant will expire 5 p.m. on the 5th anniversary of our completion of initial business combination. So this expires on 5th anniversary, so 5 years. So you do have a lot of time. So that's some good things about it, right? You do have a lot of time. So almost 5 years. So that's pretty good in my opinion. So yeah. So that way, if you get warrant, you can get a lot of those, right? So with $1,000, you can get 500 something warrant for that company. So if you have, let's say, for 2,000, you can get almost 1,000 stocks. So if you have 1,000 stock, $10 moves, you'll make 10,000. That's pretty good return, right? So, yeah. Pretty much that's about it. If you have any question or comment, comment below. If not, it's all right. And don't forget to like and follow, subscribe. Thank you everyone. Thanks, I appreciate it.